Hello, listeners. Hello, researchers. Today's an exciting day because I'm talking to Dr. Makella Coudray, who's a member of the Researchers Writing Academy, and she's also enrolling all her lab members into the Academy as they join her lab. So very excited to chat to you today, Makella. Hi, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Do you want to start off by just sharing about your research position, where you're based, whatever you want to share about your research?
I can. Thank you for asking. I am currently a tenure track assistant professor at the University of Central Florida. I'm based in the Department of Population Health Sciences, and my specific research agenda focuses heavily on sexual health and access to sexual health services for women of color. I am an NIH-funded researcher, which I think is important to say in this current time where grants are
Mm,
just being snatched left and right. And I am proud to do that work at the intersection of epidemiology and implementation science to really try to identify what the gaps are in sexual health access for the
mm,
population, but also moving the needle forward to create culturally tailored interventions to also
mm,
reach that population.
mm. Yeah, that's very, very important work. And interestingly enough, we've had, I mean, obviously from your group, we've had member in sexual health, but even outside your group, we've had like several separate members around the world in sexual health, which is just I don't know, a funny coincidence. Um, all right. So, if we chat about like before you joined the Researchers Writing Academy, could you share about like what place were you in regarding your writing? How did writing feel? Like what were sort of the sticking points for you?
I would be transparent and say I think my experience might not exactly be what's the typical experience of other members of the Researchers Writing Academy. I think it's important to highlight I am an immigrant to the US. So I am originally from Trinidad and Tobago, and we
Mm,
have a very British system, one of spelling and
right.
writing. I completed my bachelor's and master's degree in Grenada, which has like a similar British system. So I am accustomed to writing in a certain style.
Mm,
And I had written like my capstone project and theses and like research papers for class, but not a formal peer-reviewed publication until I started my PhD. And
mm.
when I was working with my PhD advisor, I'll never forget the first paper I drafted. She didn't even give me comments. She just responded to the email and she said, "You can do better." I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
okay."
whoops.
Oh,
Oh God,
that
that's harsh.
that was so tragic to me. So then I went
I
back and
understand.
tried to do better, and then she like outlined almost everything. So I'm not 100% sure which feedback was worst. So for me, it was much of a journey because I felt like other people in my cohort had peer-reviewed publications and I didn't. So I felt like they
Mm,
had that skill and I did not. And I didn't take a class on writing peer-reviewed publications. I more or less figured things out as I continued writing. And I just
mm,
felt like I was building the plane as I was flying. Like I
mm.
was not using a reference manager the first couple of ones. And every time I got feedback, I was manually just figuring out things each time I
Yeah.
wrote a new paper. Whereas I felt like if I had had something like this course and the academy, like on the onset, I would have
Mm,
had a more systematic way to write and develop publications.
mm,
So I feel like I moved from just being frazzled and responding to like different feedbacks and just going with things primarily
mm,
throughout my PhD. So peer-reviewed publications throughout the PhD and my dissertation, which I did publish some parts of. And into the early parts of my postdoc, I think I operated that way. And that's when I was like, this is madness at this point. I'm
mm,
advancing in my career. I'm a postdoc with plans to be tenure
mm,
track faculty, and they always say publications are our currency.
mm,
I would have no money if I keep going this way, is what I told myself. So I had to find a resource or something, some type of
Mm,
system to make the process more streamlined and honestly more enjoyable because I loved writing when I was
mm,
back home. And I did
mm,
not like it how I had to do peer-reviewed publications here. And
mm,
that loss of my love of writing bothered me.
mm.
And
This
that's
is
why I had to find it.
that's interestingly also such a common, oh, not that this is true for everyone, but I keep hearing this. Like things like, oh, I used to like writing as a child, or I used to like writing growing up, and then like totally losing that like love for
Mhm.
writing because of like how academic writing isn't being taught, and then you're just left with like feedback like you got that isn't so helpful. It's just very like crushing to receive.
Yep.
Well, thank you for sharing that so openly. Um, do you like if you were to describe the Researchers Writing Academy to a friend or to a colleague, how would you do that?
To a friend or colleague, so it's important to say most of my colleagues are in academia and majority of them are tenure track, so
Hmm.
they focus heavily on grant writing and manuscript writing. I would say this is what you need to have within like the first 3 months of you starting an academic position. This is your blueprint to having a successful manuscript pipeline. This is the blueprint. It's your scaffolding and infrastructure to make sure you can meet the requirement of consistent publication. It's
Mm.
also a support system. So you get the blueprint, but I really appreciate the community that comes with the academy, which I didn't realize transparently was also included when I bought it. I literally bought it for the course, and then when I saw all of the other things, that was just icing on the cake.
Yeah, for the longest time we didn't market, like we only marketed the course. And then we were almost not telling people, hey, there's lots of other things
Yep.
going on. So I don't think that one's on you. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And if you were to describe like how has the Researchers Writing Academy helped you with your writing, um, is there like maybe you can start with like sort of the trajectory, like what did you do first, like what changed first, how did you use it, but then also you can just generally maybe talk about your wins, what were you able to do thanks to the Researchers
Yeah.
Writing Academy.
I think the biggest change and the change I made first was that the storytelling document, the key takeaways document, because I publish a lot with interdisciplinary teams. And at the time, I was struggling with I wrote the paper, and then by the time I sent it out, the feedback I received, it essentially I was rewriting the paper at that point. It
Mm,
was always do this different thing, analysis, rewrite. And that was just too time consuming. So I'm actually a part of a writing group
mm,
for a research lab that I'm in, and I shared with them one of those documents that I did, and they liked it. So we've used it in that group for the publications that
cool.
we're working on. And I really believe that has helped us with streamlining feedback because now, where I was doing like 4 or 5 rounds of feedback, we do one or two, and then we're ready to go to get it published. I think that
Amazing.
overall for me was the biggest win in
Mm,
one, incorporating my collaborators earlier on, and two, in reducing the time it took from like beginning to write to being able to submit.
mm,
Something else that I loved to do, and you mentioned it earlier on, was the fact that I like to register my RAs for
mm,
the course. I primarily have undergraduate RAs, so now I have a couple graduate RAs, but they did the course when they were in undergrad. And similar to my experience, they didn't have formal training in scientific writing, but every hour in my lab works on a manuscript. So that helped with one, giving them the scientific writing experience that they did not formally have through their
mm,
academic training. But truthfully, it also helped me
mhm,
Because I didn't have to keep, because this is the system that I am
Mm,
now using for
mhm,
publications moving forward. And I didn't have to like keep teaching the system over
mhm,
and over. It's just, okay, you're in the lab now. We've identified the publication you're going to work on. Let's register you for this. They have to do the course before they start doing
mhm,
like that's, they do it within the first 2 months
mhm,
once they're registered in the first semester. And then they can start working on whatever publication they're working
mhm,
on for the
mhm,
lab. So systems wise, that has helped me tremendously that the team is on one accord and I don't have to keep restating things. They understand. I think the other thing that has also helped me, and it's something I've done recently, is join the quarterly planning sessions.
mm. Which are
Because
now monthly. We
yes,
made them more often.
because I I don't know who I was at the time that I agreed to all of these projects. I don't know who I was, but the person that I am today somehow has to live up to those promises that I made. And all of the publications seem to be due around the same time. And I need to be very, very careful with my writing time. So those quarterly planning sessions have truly helped me realize one, I am delusional to think
Mm,
that I could have done all of those in that time frame. And I've had to renegotiate some of that with collaborators to make it more feasible. But it's also helped me personally with being able to say no to future projects and focusing on
mm,
getting my projects completed. Because truly, that template that you shared with us and how you walk us through this outlining what papers are due, outlining what steps we have to do for each one, and also the time commitment that we
mm,
think each will take, and then
mm.
translating that to a calendar. I was delusional. I was absolutely delusional, and I might have been another person at that time who thought that these things were possible.
Mm,
So I think those are the three things that have really helped me and are taking me forward to making sure I have a good system for one, maintaining productivity that is required for my position,
mm,
but also maintaining work-life balance that is just required for my mental health.
mm. Yeah, that makes so much sense. And yeah, I mean, I totally love how you use the journal publication formula as your writing system and everything like we teach in the Researchers Writing Academy with the planning workshops, etc. Like how you incorporate that in your writing system and how you're also incorporating your whole team in that and giving your RAs that like opportunity that like so many just wouldn't have received otherwise. Like that's amazing. And even though you say it does benefit you as
Well,
well, of course, but it also massively benefits them and their careers. So yeah, I think that's like such an amazing example
yeah,
of doing
I've
this.
had I've had 6 RAs and a research coordinator go through the
Mhm.
program. And the research coordinator, she's no longer in the lab because she accepted a new position, but she said even at her new position, the stuff that she learned in the course really helps her.
Oh, amazing. Well, that's great
hmm
feedback. Glad to
hmm
hear that. Um, do you want to share more about, like, in terms of how writing feels? Did you see there was a shift in that?
So, yes, I will say I'm still not back to the place where I was of like, let me love this and I'm so excited. But my
Mm,
anxiety is greatly reduced. I think a lot of my anxiety earlier on, specifically in the PhD phase and early postdoc,
mm,
was due to my unfamiliarity with peer-reviewed publications and that type of style. I'm very Caribbean and we're
mm,
very flamboyant and
mm,
we could use 10 million words to say things and we like to paint a picture and it's a whole thing, which is not really the case with peer-reviewed publications. So having that shift, having to make that shift and not knowing how to make that shift really caused me a lot of anxiety in the beginning because I am
mm,
truly a perfectionist. So with the research publication formula and having really, well, this is what you do, has
Mm,
really helped calm a lot of my anxiety. I
mm,
think the only
that's
reason the joy
great.
is missing now is because I just have too much papers to write and I don't know what to plan these out.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think once I get these pending projects done and I can slowly do papers and spend more time in them,
yeah,
that joy would return. But it's
yeah.
truly helped with my anxiety and uncertainty. And just speaking as someone who did not come from this like American system of writing and
Mm,
education, just having an outline and of what to do and
mm,
examples, because
mm,
there are examples in the bonus vault,
mm,
is truly helpful.
mm. No, that's fantastic. Um, was there like, I'm wondering, was there like a belief or anything that had to shift for you in order for things to click?
There were several beliefs that had to shift. For one, the belief that my writing itself was not good enough or that I did not know how to write. I do know how to write. It's just I'm learning a different style.
Mm,
And I'm actually a really good writer. I just needed to adapt my style. And once I figured out how to do that, everything went well. I
mm.
also had to learn that if the journal rejects me, it's not me personally. Because the first couple of ones, I was like, oh my God,
Mm,
wow. Yeah, I think my first rejection I'll never forget. Not I think, I know. I actually was in Trinidad at the time on break. The first rejection came from the American Journal of Public Health. I was in my childhood bedroom and I cried for about half an hour.
oh.
I will never, and I have never submitted to AJPH since. And that was like 2018. I have never
Mm.
submitted to them again. They were my first rejection. Will I submit to them one day? I'm actually working on a manuscript right now that I do plan to submit
Good,
to them.
good.
So
Rewrite this. Yeah.
even that is how much like I feel confident now after doing
Yeah.
the academy and I'm having the film. I'm like, okay, I can overcome this like ban I had in my mind on AJPH and submit this manuscript to them. So those were
Mm,
some of the self-limiting beliefs I think that I had to overcome. And I think the more I write and the more I implement the tools, the confidence grows and I'm able to do more and
mm,
invest more time in my
mm,
writing.
mm. I can't wait to see how things are gonna go for you once you've got all the things out of the way and you can take things a little bit more slowly. I do feel there will be a whole new shift for you coming.
Yeah.
Do you want to share also about like what's your writing routine like these days?
So I have to share two things. I have to share what I want my writing routine to be and what it has actually been in the last few months. So, what I would like it to be, I actually have writing time blocked out on my calendar. My goal is to have 2 hours of writing time a day, and it
Mm,
technically is blocked out on my calendar. Now, the actuality of that happening every day is not happening because I have it at a dedicated time from 9
mhm,
to 11. I've realized that I need to be honest with myself, and that actually does not work. I actually told my therapist that yesterday. I was like, I don't know why I have this set at this time. Because at 9,
mhm,
I'm just not there mentally to be
mhm,
writing. So I just
mhm.
need to be honest. I don't know why I have it in my head that I have to do it for this thing in the morning.
No, don't do that. Like for so many of us, this doesn't work. Like some of
It
us,
does
I'm
not work.
also for it doesn't work for myself. Like I'm not a morning person. I talked to someone the other day who was like another member of the Researchers Writing Academy, Erica, whose interview I'm actually going to publish today, the day we're speaking. Um, And she said she's like this very early morning person. She goes like for a run or something and writes super early in the morning. And I'm like, for me, this would be the worst thing to do. So if you are not like that, don't force yourself to do it in the morning. We
Yeah,
can
I'm
do
more
great
like
things
a
in the afternoon.
yeah, so I'm more like a not too late. I'm like a midday.
Me
I feel like I
too.
really reach
Yeah.
my peak. midday. I have like a slow ramp up. I come and then I just like
Same,
so like
yeah.
midday. Midday would be perfect for me. But I do think just based on the amount of writing I have to get done, the 2 hour time frame, that actually does work really well
Hmm.
for me, the two
Wow,
hour
that's
time
great. That
frame.
is a lot of writing time that you
See, that's
managed
the
to carve
thing.
out.
I am a slow writer again because I'm always overthinking and like being a perfectionist, which I'm willing to let go. The first draft is just fine. They will give me feedback and I can improve it afterwards. The first draft is just fine. I just need to get it done. But really, what I would love my writing schedule to be, I think I'm probably going to move my writing time to about 11 to 1
Hmm. Nice.
and keep that 2 hour time frame. And I think that would help me be a
Mm.
lot more consistent. And what's also helping me, I don't have Trello because I know you use the Trello board,
Mm.
but my institution pays for teams. So I've built out like my writing schedule
Hmm.
in the Teams Planner app.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that also helps me. But the missing pieces is me moving it from the planner to my calendar.
Oh, okay.
That's the last step that we
Yeah.
covered in the last planning meeting.
Hmm.
And I did it for like the first couple of weeks and I haven't mapped it out for the rest. And that's
Mm.
what I need to focus on
Mm.
to making sure I keep consistent with my writing time.
Mm.
That's literally my problem. If I can keep consistent with my writing time,
Mm.
all of these million projects would get done.
Mm. I also want to mention we will have a writing retreat, like an online writing retreat for 3 days in June. So I think it's 10 to 12th of June. So if that works with your schedule, that may also be a nice
That would suit
opportunity
my,
to push some
yes,
projects.
that
Uh,
does work because I do have a goal of getting a lot of these pending manuscripts because they're really not anything that I have to draft from scratch. It's really at the point where I have reviewer feedback
mm,
and I need to update them and get them submitted. So that's what I'm trying to do between now and the end of Q2.
mhm.
We'll see if I get all of that done,
Well,
but that would
fingers
help.
very much crossed.
Thank you.
Um, what would you tell someone who is where you were before you joined the Researchers Writing Academy? What advice would you give them?
Several. Don't do like I did in the beginning. I tried to like spread out the course and only do the sections that were related to like what I was working on at the time. But I
Mm,
truly feel like taking in all of the course content really helped me with my overall framing of the writing projects I was focusing on. And also, I would say don't be afraid to go back and
mm,
then look at very specific sections because I still do that because I was in the course when it was not on the platform it is now. So it
yeah,
doesn't
right.
look like if I completed the whole thing because I completed it in the other one.
Right.
But I come back and go to specific sections where I'm like, no, I need to brush this up. Or I need to tighten this. I'd
Mm.
say you have access to it, use the access. I would also say attend them planning meetings. That plan that planning meeting really helps me with perspective and really being realistic and
Mm,
having to reach back out to collaborators to be like, I can't do this in the time frame I said.
mm,
Like this, I'm sorry, but we just have to push this deadline back. I'm committed to doing it, but we just have to push this deadline back. The
mm.
planning meetings, the planning meetings. If you don't go to nothing, go to the planning meetings. And although I haven't personally used it, I have attended a couple of them, the sessions where you take and people submit what they're
Mm,
working on for feedback. Although I have not submitted one, attending the sessions really helped me because I had some similar issues to other people who submitted things, and I was able to learn
mm,
just hanging out on the Zoom and listening to how you helped them also
mm,
helped me, even though it wasn't my specific manuscript,
mm,
it still helped me. So I think
mm,
really leaning in, yes, the course is great. Don't get me wrong, the course is great, but really leaning into the other support and other things that are happening in the community, I
mm,
think really helps. Like people post questions all the time and share
mm,
resources in the platform. I think the community lean into it heavily and get the support. I also say, because I have, renew your membership. When the reminder email comes, click renew. Just go on ahead and click renew. Trust me, because I've done it. You won't regret it. Just click renew and keep it moving. Don't question. Just renew.
Oh, I love that, Makella. Thank you. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to add before we close off?
There is one thing, because I think I've used the word systems quite a
Mm,
lot. Um, so I would say what works for me is because my institution uses Microsoft 365, the Planner app works for me to like map out things.
mm,
And then I know in the course you used the example with Trello board, and if that's available to you, I suggest to use that. All I'm saying is have a system whereby you plan out and keep track is my biggest advice. It will help
mm,
keep you on track. It will help keep you accountable. And I think when I am not as productive is literally when, well, I don't know what I have to do. I don't know where this project
mm,
is, where that project is.
mm,
When that is clear to me, I can make a plan and attack it. So I will just recommend whatever your system may be, a whiteboard, a pegboard, Trello, whatever it is, just
mm,
have a system to
mm.
keep on top of your writing.
No, that's really good advice. And I think, yeah, I think, yeah, good to point out that it can be digital or physical, like system. I've recently moved more back to pen and paper. I have a wall calendar. I make little um, I don't want to show them because they're very messy. Papers that I write every week about where I basically organize myself. And I will share actually more about these. I wanted to test them for a few weeks and months before I share it with the community, but I'm about to share with you all inside the Researchers Writing Academy how I'm doing this. And this has really worked for me. Um, there's so many ways to have a system. It doesn't need to be Trello. It can be, as you say, like use whatever you have available. And also, I think what's important on this topic is don't overthink it. Like, honestly, they're all the same. Like, there's like so many. There's Trello, there's ClickUp, there's yeah, there's
Asana.
Asana. Um, it doesn't matter. Like, just choose one. Choose the one you have access to. Choose the one that's free. Actually, Notion is another one, and that's like a like open
Mhm.
source version of Notion now that I forgot the name of. That people are in academia, like in universities, are starting to use a lot. Like use one, just choose one almost blindly and go with it, like whatever, looks best to you or whatever
Exactly.
you want to start clicking on, or if you have access to something through your university, then use that. And if you prefer to use pen and paper, I just want to say I do that because
Yeah.
it's not worse. It has some disadvantages, but also has some advantages. And what
Mhm.
I do is I combine the two actually. I have my Trello board and I have pen and paper, and you know.
I think I might be moving to that system. I think that would help me a lot as well because I'm really trying to get this train back on the tracks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, Makella, we should connect inside the Researchers Writing Academy again, and
Yes.
also happy to help you move your writing time and get you committed to all those sessions, all the writing you have to do. And yeah, super happy to see you
Thank
soon
you.
in the academy. And before we finish, is there any do you have any link, any website, and you have a beautiful personal website, or any social media, anything you want to share if people want to connect or find out more about your
Have
research?
some things to share for people to connect. And I'd just like to highlight my website designer, Jennifer. She is known as the academic designer online. She did my websites that I would like to share. So my personal website is makellacoudray.com. So my name. I also have my lab website. My lab is the Sexual Health, Equity, and Empowerment Research Lab, or the SHARE Lab. And our website is thesharelab.com. We're also on LinkedIn. Instagram, and Facebook at the Share Lab.
Great, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time, Makella, and chatting today. I appreciate you,
Thank
and
you for
see you
having
soon.
me.
Bye. If you got curious about the Researchers Writing Academy, then just head to my website, annaclemens.com, and click the Join Us button in the top right corner. That is ANNACLEMENS.com. We also have this link in the description, of course. The Researchers Writing Academy is a comprehensive academic writing program that helps you get published consistently without sacrificing your private life for your academic career. We would really love to have you, so come join us.